Welcome back to Fix'in Up the Commonwealth. Sunshine tidings, and it's gaming for XP, of course. Just have a quick look around, see what's going on. So I thought today what we'd do, I spoke about last week, maybe concentrating on this little area in the corner here. I haven't seen too many people do too much building here, so I thought I'd try something and see if it works. It's all this build is going to be purely by feel. Really haven't got a huge plan here, but we'll see what happens. I do like building like this. We just clean all this up to start with, get all this stuff out the way. I'm looking at this area, it's quite big actually. There's quite a bit of area to build in. Before we do that, we got to go and speak to these guys over here. Oh, not a suicider. There we go. Beautiful. That fixes him. The other guy, where are you? Can't see you. Don't think you're distracting me, mate. That's it. Okay. All good. Do a little bit of looting and then we can get into building. What's he got? Bits and pieces. Ooh. Oops. Seems to have lost something there. This other guy's kind of in bits. Just all went to bits. Okay, back to building. So over in the corner here, really haven't got a plan. I've got an idea in my head, but that's about it, and we'll see what happens. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this series. I've been extremely busy with real life work, so unfortunately I haven't had a lot of time. I've been kind of pumping these builds out a little bit, so I haven't had a lot of time to spend. Hopefully things are all improved now. The craziness is kind of over, so we can concentrate back on the channel and on the building. So I'm going to start with a little building here, and then we will see where it takes us. So I have an idea for a very kind of basic looking build, and I don't want it too close to the fence, but I don't want it too. I want it as close as possible, so but giving me enough room so I can get in here if I need to do some work, which I do a little bit later. So I'm just lining that first foundation up, and everything will kind of work off of this. And this is a pretty simple structure. So what I generally do is I get kind of something, a base kind of structure in place like this. Push that wall in. 3 different walls. You can have all the same, it's up to you. Put a roof on. And then I'll start to work from there and see what we come up with. So I don't generally use these roofs, but I'm going to try and use these roofs today, just because I don't generally use them. No other reason. Okay, so there's a little building up behind Sunshine Tidings up on the hill there that is very similar to this, and so that's part of my inspiration. The other inspiration is behind me. There's a little shack with a bed in it. That's the second part. Now this fights me a little bit. I've kind of cut out the 10 minutes of finagling that I had to do, and I end up having to switch off the snapping and the collision to get this to work. So there was a fair bit of faffing going on. Kind of subject you guys to that, so get it nice and close as possible, just like that, and then remember to switch the snapping back on, otherwise you're going to be scratching your heads and wondering why. That's play with place anyway. Now I do realise it's getting dark here, and I will sleep in a minute, but I'm probably going to build a little bit further. We're not too bad at this point. I will brighten the footage up for you a little bit just to make sure it's not too dark when it renders. There we go. So it's a pretty simple little structure. Now I could have left it at that, but then I have an idea of maybe doing something a little bit different. Just trying to figure out what I want to do here. Okay, that looks okay. So hence the running back and forward. So I hope you're still enjoying Fallout 4. I mean, it's a couple years old now, but I'll tell you what, there seems to be a a lot of people still finding the game, still buying the game, so it's great. I'm hearing from new players all the time. And while I'm on the subject of hearing from new people all the time, thank you so much. We finally hit our year goal of 300 subs, which is just amazing. Just amazing. I am so grateful. When I started the channel way back in January, I never thought 2 people would like this, never mind 300. So thanks so much. If you're new, welcome to the channel. If you haven't seen all this Fixing Up the Commonwealth series, go on and look at video number 1, which kind of explains the concept. And please feel free to interact with this. This is build is an interactive build, and I'm guided by your comments to what I'm going to build next. So have a little bit of a gap there, and we'll probably need to put a couple of quarter floors in there just to fill that gap. Yep. How close is that to the building? Yep, that's close enough for me. Okay. So the idea here, and what ends up happening, is this is going to be a defensive area. I want to extend, potentially what I want to do is extend all this defensive area, but also a little living area that's a little bit hidden around the corner here. You don't usually see people building in here, so I always like those challenges to build in places that people don't necessarily normally build in. And if you haven't seen the Ducks project and my build under the bridge at Sanctuary, which was another one where I haven't seen too many people do it, please check it out. I'll leave a link up above and you can have a look at that. So this is pretty simple stuff. What I kind of stood back and looked at this and thought, yeah, it looks very plain, so we're going to put a little roofed area in here in a minute. Pretty simple to do. 4 pillars and a roof, not hard. As you know, if you've watched me for a while, I like to keep things very simple because I tend to do things in the most difficult way possible. So there you go, 4 pillars, and depending on what mod you're running, obviously I'm running Workshop Rearranged, and I'm also running the Master Plan series of mods. The snapping is just so much better, so that should just snap right on for you. If it doesn't, then you might have to use the pillar or some scaffolding to get that on, but it should snap straight onto those. If not, just put a wall down, snap it on, take the wall away. It's another way of doing it. So I just wanted it to look a little bit different. Put these fences in like this, and of course the last one that I try to put in fights me to the point where, here we go, no, and it won't go in there, so I end up giving up and put another one in later. As I said, I like to keep things simple because these things tend to happen. So I'm going to go and sleep now so that you can see what's going on, and we'll be back in a second. So here we are, it's daytime again, and we'll just get into the build menu, keep going. So I have an idea what I want to do, and it's something I've done before. If you've seen my trailer park build in Starlight Driving, you'll know you've seen this before. So I want to run a and what I'm doing is I'm just looking for the piece of more. I'm going to put a little caravan trailer. Let's not get into that because we've had that whole conversation with the with the build at Starlight. I'm just going to put a pillar down because I suspect I'm going to need a pillar. And now I'm going to get the caravan, if I can ever remember where it is. It's a problem when you run so many mods, you just forget where they are. Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put the fences in first, of course we are. when I initially put these in, you see that defensive thing there? It's hanging a little bit further over than I'd like, so these fences don't go where I want them straight up, but I do fix it in the end. And I just like to have these areas blocked off underneath. You can see you had those foundations. Somebody could easily just run up to them, run under, and suddenly they're into the settlement. So we need to shore them up. These for some reason want to keep jumping up, so I'll have to take my time, ease it up. And what to do is just look for it going through. There you go, just going through the flow, and then back it off a little bit. There we go, and release. And what you got to do is remember to actually hit the button for place anywhere. Yep, I left it in. I thought it was worth doing. Why not? You got to be able to laugh at yourself. So try and get it as close to that wall. Same thing, and up we go. And now it's just rinse and repeat pretty much. There we go. We're through the floor. Back it off. Press place anywhere. Release, and there we go. All good. So what I end up doing is I end up taking that defensive thing off and changing it. See how that's snapping there? I do not like that at all. And that's snapped lower for some reason. And again, the reason my fences snap is because, again, I'm running place anywhere and I'm running master plan. Either or of them help with things like that snapping together, where they would normally not do that. Okay. So I like to mix this up a little bit. I'm going to use one of these Tor fences, put it in there, and what this actually ends up doing is it ends up acting as a guardrail for that overbridge as well as a fence. So if you're observant, you would see those fences are now tight against the foundation. Now, one of the ways to do this is just to do what I'm doing here and have a look at it from overhead, and then just finagle it into, or finesse it into place. Get it roughly where you want, and then because they're longer, you can bring that up. We'll see in a sec. I need to straighten that up a little bit, like that. Take your time, get these into place, and you can see that acts like a little rail system now. Because one of the things that kind of struck me is that this little overbridge is a little bit exposed to enemy fire. So there we go. It's perfect. And I'm going to mix it up again with the textures that I'm going to put along the fence, and I'm going to use the barn tab, and this is something I've done a lot. And generally what I do is I'll get a wall section. Usually I use the ones with the holes in them. Here I'm going to use a half wall, and it should just snap into place. There you go, just like that. Now it's a bit high, you just need to pull it down. It should snap to those foundations, no problem. And I've turned it round deliberately just to make it look a little bit different. And the last piece I'm going to put in is something for the warehouse. So you can see we're just trying to mix and match some textures just to give it that kind of really scrappy look and that really homemade look. So just going to see if that will snap on, which it won't. So the easiest way to do it is just to grab the pillar. Yep, wants to snap to everything except the place I wanted to snap. Go figure. Now the thing with the pillar, if you don't already know, group selecting the pillar, if you do that near buildings that Bethesda's already built, it shouldn't grab everything. It should be okay. So you can see I could grab that, no problem. And this goes in pretty easily, just like that. There we go. Job done. And I always like to use these buildings as much as possible as the natural fence line or the natural boundary line. It's something that I've been doing for a long time. I think it just helps to sell the concept of just homemade kind of fence. So we're going to put the old mobile home in now, caravan, trail, whatever you want to call it. Now it's sitting a little bit low, I raise it up, and I realise later when I'm doing the walk around that it's actually sitting off the ground, and this is just a compromise that you make. And you can see, if you're watching closely, you can see the boundary line is sort of inside the cabin. So I'll have to come up with some kind of fix for that. We'll figure it out though. So we moved the angle. It's always a good idea just to try and get the angle is kind of close to what the boundary is doing as possible. So as I said, if you haven't seen the trailer park build that I done quite a while back at Starlight, check it out, because it will show you a lot of what I'm about to do here. And this is the thing that, again, as I said at the start of the video, I was doing this on the fly. I was really just feeling my way through what this was going to look like. The only idea that I had was that first building that we done, and so I'm just working my way through this. Now the trailer build, if you've seen it before, you know that I used a similar technique to one I'm about to show you now, and it's just, again, I like to have multi-levels happening. We've linked the front defences now, which I like. This wasn't snapping where I wanted it to, so hence I just clicked it, snapped it to something, and then picked it up again. And I'll use place anywhere just to get it into position like this. As it turns out, when I put these, so we got a bit of a gap here. When I put the floors in to plug the gap, it actually snaps onto the plywood floors that I use. So it all works out in the end. So you can see you could have left this roof alone, done absolutely nothing except, you know, have it as a roof, but I decided that I like to have different levels. And as it turns out, I wanted to somehow get onto the workshop roof, and this allows me to do it, so it all works out in the end perfectly. So we'll snap this onto here. If it wants to snap like that, we'll place anywhere, and you'll see in a second this walkway will now snap onto those boards, because they're a little bit high, and there you go, snap, bang, beautiful. All working out well so far. So I'm just checking what way I want to have that snapped. So that's good, and it flows well across, all the way across up onto the roof. And I'd encourage you to do this with your settlements, is to go for the multi levels, and challenge yourself how to get from kind of one level to the next in a creative way, because it really is kind of works with the lore. It's very lore friendly, and it is what Bethesda would probably do. So you're going to have to hop up there. I just leave that as a kind of jump up there. I don't try to put a set of stairs in, given that it's a very kind of narrow plank that you're walking along there. Very precarious. You're very exposed to being shot by the enemy, by the way, but never mind. So I tried these stairs. These stairs just end up being a bit too high. My worry is if I drop them down any lower, they're going to poke through the ceiling downstairs, so I don't really want to do that. So I try and kind of play around with the height of these boards relative to the stairs. Doesn't really work for me. You can see there, it's just not going to work. So I end up going, I have a light bulb moment in a minute, and I go, you know what about those ones? These ones are lower, and they do fight me a bit, but they're a perfect height, and we do get these into place in the end. So I end up having to use place anywhere, and I don't think I show you, just to get the height right and the position right. So here we go, and then we just bring that plank down so it sits on there, and we're all good. There we go, cool. So here's the final tour, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little build, just an improvised little build. Dogmeat was in my way as usual. He loves to sit halfway up the ladders there for some reason. So let's have a look, see what we've done, see what it looks like decorated. I've kept it nice and tight. That area there I think I'm going to use as a storage area underneath. I like to build a settlement. I like the sleeping areas and stuff underneath. Got a little campfire there. This was the original inspiration right here. So I've built a little campfire, couple of seats right there. Kept the decoration pretty sparse. Got a little bit of a toilet in there using the same idea, so there's symmetry. Let's have a look in the mobile home. A couple of seats with boxes, obviously the beer and cigarettes, a couple of beds. This is a great little outlook, little defensive area to have a look at, and gives a little bit of protection for the guards. So like a sniper's perch right up here. I'll just put a bed in there, a little bit more decorating needed in there, not too much. And up we go. Put a little bit of bed in here. You can see they've tried to brighten it up with some flowers in a vase there. And there's just a staging area for the guards to sit in here. Some ammunition and lockers and whatnot. Again, good little defensive area. And you'll see there's lots of little defensive areas in this build. So let's run round the other side. Running, running, running. And we'll hop up onto the top of the mobile home caravan trailer, blah blah blah. Okay, here we go. You can see there's, just give you a look at what that actually looks like. Pretty simple little idea. Hop down, all the way along, put sandbags everywhere, turrets everywhere. I may put a seat and stuff in there. See, again, lots of vantage points to watch for raiders coming. This gives you a good sniper's nest. Up we go, across on here, and this is something I've done in my castle build. This little building here, there's a sink, and very minimal. Again, obviously it's just a hangout for the guards. There's weapons and TNT and all kinds of stuff here, but oh, what turrets. Kept it very, very simple. Sandbags, there's a box here to sit on, and that's us. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Fixing up the Commonwealth, done again. Hope you've enjoyed this little build as we look around the walls. Thanks for supporting the channel, thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time.